Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Awesome Dynamic Show. As we do every week, we're here to discuss different subjects on the issue of websites, SEO, Amazon, and any other questions you might have. I am lucky enough to be joined today by Blake down in Florida and Paul Dwarian, our owner and president, up in beautiful Round Lake, Illinois. And Robin is not with us today, unfortunately, so we're going to try to hold down the fort without her. So I want to turn it over to Paul right away. Paul, I know we wanted to touch base with an issue of our latest blog, which is powerful website writing and design tips for more traffic. So can you give us a little intro on that subject, please?
Absolutely. So Robin's most recent blog, and I'm going to share my screen so we can take a look at it. It's about powerful website writing and design tips for more traffic. And the idea behind doing anything on your website should be to garner more traffic from the search engine, so this way people come to your website to learn about what you have to offer. And if you do that in the right ways, to have your content come up in the right ways for the different keywords you want to be found for, and that content on that page really resonates with the person that's reading it, then the likelihood that they decide to engage with you, whether that's through a contact us button, a free quote button, or just calling the phone number that's on your page, drastically increases. So these different website writing and design tips can be very powerful in that regard. So we'll get right into some of this content. And I also wanted to make mention, Terry, we do have the question and answer portion of this. And I see that we already have Gail Eisenberg and Deborah Kosis joining us for the webinar today. And they're already posting in the questions area. So I wanted to say hello to both of them. Terry, I'm sure you'd like to say the same.
Absolutely. Hello, ladies. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
And Deborah says she's in a public place, so she hopes it works. And yes, it is working. And I can't see or hear anything as well. Hopefully that's been resolved. Gail says that she's on and that I'm trying to get on the webinar, but I do not see or hear anything. So maybe that was before we got started here, because I know we started 1 minute late here. So hopefully they're still on with us and chatting. All right, so back to the top, web design tips. Why should I care about website writing? Increase the time on site, increase your Google ranking, the number of pages visited by each person, adds to the look and feel, adds instant trust, and decreases the bounce rate. So I wanted to talk about, let's see, Deborah says, Gail, can you see anything yet? And Gail says, yes, I can see and hear you, and hopefully she's talking to us, so that's good. All right. So these different things, I want to touch on each one of these here. So increasing the time on site, the average person that's on the site, if you don't have anything that really engages or interests them, they're going to leave right away. So one of the measures that we use when we're talking about search engine optimization is the amount of time on the site on average. And you want to have a high average time on site, and that's a good measure that you're engaging them and drawing them into the different content that you have. Let's say there's videos on the site, or you have different things they can click on to dive in deeper into the content that you have in the site. And the higher amount of time on your site is one way to gauge the quality of the content on your site and the fact that it's engaging other folks. And Blake, would you mind managing? Or here, I guess we can't really chat with Deborah because she can't see or hear us, and she tried refreshing and it didn't work. So unfortunately, Deborah, when you watch the recording here, we cannot interact with you to figure out how to make that work on your computer while we're running the webinar, but hopefully you're able to solve that problem, and if you contact us afterward, hopefully we'll be able to troubleshoot those technical issues with you at a later time.
All right, I was going to sort of introduce everybody to Deborah. Deborah's, among other things, a very creative marketing person. And then we were talking about Gail, who makes some of the best brownies in the world.
Nice. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to the increasing time on the site, that's one measure that we use for engagement to see if that's something that it's a measure to see if the people that are coming to the site, if the content's really resonating with them.
And Paul, some people might not really understand or know how they can measure those type of things. So Google helps us with that. Could you dig into that just a little bit?
Yes, you're talking about how do we measure it? How do we know?
Yes.
Yes, and that's through Google Analytics. So if you, and I'll even pull up on the site. Okay, what is Google Analytics? This is a free tool that Google gives you to measure all sorts of things on your website. And of course, it's not going to let me see the site here without logging in. But Analytics helps you analyze stuff on your site. So one of the things that it will help you analyze is the amount of time. It'll tell you what pages people are visiting. It'll tell you information about what keywords they use to find your site. Just tons and tons of information. Where people are visiting your site from geographically in this country or another country. What time of day they were there. What pages they visit in which order. There's so much information that can be gained from using Google Analytics. And one of those items is what I was talking about here, which is increasing the time on the site. Just evaluating. You can even see on a page-by-page basis which ones are visited or more people spend time on than others. And I even remember a story with my dad's closet business and his website. We had a page that had, it was about crown molding, and the page time on that site was very low. And we also saw that everybody that went to the that particular page left the website when they got to that page. So my dad and I went to that page to see what was wrong with it. It had one sentence that wasn't really well written and one picture that was pretty poor. And we made the executive decision right at that moment to eliminate that page because it wasn't doing anything to help our website. So that's the kind of strategic decisions you can make based on the data that you find in Google Analytics. You can
And
see
that,
this.
again, that is free, and that's something that anybody can set up. And also would be a perfect example of something that somebody could come on to our webinar with if they were having issues getting that set up or how to use it, where we could specifically address that for them and give a little hand. But a lot of different ways Google, for free, will let you evaluate your website, your online presence, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Increase in Google ranking. Okay, so why should I care about website writing? So how does writing affect your Google ranking? Well, we always recommend that folks have at least 300 to 600 words on each page. If you don't have at least 300 words, your pages could be penalized for what's called thin content. You don't have anything of value on your page. Google sees that you don't have many words there. There's no value in having a page that doesn't have something to talk about what that page is about. And if you increase the number of words on a page, and those words happen to incorporate some of the keywords that are important to what that page is about, it can increase your ranking on that particular page on your website. So having something to talk about and expanding on the topic that that page is about and incorporating the keywords in all the right ways can help increase your Google ranking. Next here we have increased the number of pages visited by each person. This is another measure of engagement. So the concept of bounce rate, which is the last item on here, and then number of pages visited are kind of combined in a way, because a bounce on your website is really somebody who visits the page and does not click on anything else and then leaves. So if people are doing that on your website and you see that you have a high bounce rate, anything over 30% is pretty high for a bounce rate. You can see that information in your Google Analytics as well. But if you see that you have a higher bounce rate on particular pages than others, that means that when people are visiting that page, they don't click anywhere else, and it didn't really compel them to do anything. So number of pages on your site, we can actually track, okay, well, they click at least once. Do they click 2, 3, 4, 5 times? The more pages someone clicks on your site, the more engaged they are with your content. And again, that's a measure of how well you're delivering that content and how well that's resonating with people. We can even create in Google Analytics what's called a goal, where we want person to, let's say, come to the home page, visit one of your service or product pages, then they click contact us, and then they contact you and end up at the thank you page. So the progression will be home, service, contact, thank you. If they complete that series of pages in that order, we consider that goal met. And if we can get a certain percentage of people to meet that goal, that's a very powerful thing. And that's 4 pages visited. They did it in the order that we wanted, and we can measure that as a goal conversion from visitor to actually flowing through the funnel of things that we want them to do. So topically, the first thing we look at is, are they visiting more than one page? But getting really advanced, are they visiting the pages in the order that I want, and are they getting to the places that I want them to be on the site, which results in leads or phone calls to my business?
Okay. On this bounce rate, is there some sort of general reasons that we know of offhand that make people bounce, or is that vary to site to site?
That's a great question. And to answer that, I would say if the information on the Google page doesn't really jive what's on the actual page on your website, that's something that a lot of people call clickbait, and it doesn't resonate with me when I click on that result. So let me give you an example. Since Gail is on the line, we'll use her website. Her website is gailvisbrownies.com. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Here we go. Here's the website.
That's it.
So let's see. Gail's Treats is this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type /gailsbrownies.com. By doing this with the site colon, what I do is I get Google to produce all the different pages on the result or on the website and what title tags and meta descriptions come up for each of those specific pages. So when I'm talking about a bounce rate and how the information I'm looking at and clicking on, does that jive with what I'm going to see on the page after I click? That's one major factor that the bounce rate can be influenced by. So right here, this Gail's Treats right here, which is the page that I was looking at here. It says Gail's Brownies featuring decadent desserts, corporate, and it gets cut off. Well, first off, if you customize this title tag to be at least 55 characters or less, you won't see this getting cut off here. So just based on what I'm reading here and scanning right here, I better see decadent desserts and something pertaining to corporate when I click on this page, because that's what this is telling me I'm going to see when I click on this result. Also, if I kind of read this a little bit more, Gail's original chocolate chip brownie, loaded with semi-sweet chocolate chips and sprinkled with even more chocolate and chocolate chips on top, double fudge, etc., etc. So am I going to find all this stuff and what I'm seeing in here on this page when I get there? And that's where I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. And I'm going to take this page. So if I click on this result and I end on this page, do I see... I'm going to pick on you, Gail. I don't see the word corporate existing anywhere on this page. So I see corporate here. I come here. I don't see anything about pertaining to corporate gifts, which I'm assuming that's what that's supposed to say. In fact, I can even see what it says. See right underneath my mouse cursor, corporate gifting Gail's Brownies. Okay, so I'm supposed to be seeing something about corporate gifting according to what this title tag is saying, and I don't see it. So that can result in a bounce. If I was searching corporate gifts and this page on your website came up and I clicked on this and I didn't see anything specific about corporate gifting, that might turn me off and I won't click on one other thing on this page and just leave and go back to the search results. So that would count as a bounce. So what the idea here is, this title tag and this meta description should really explain what I'm about to get to on this page and a better tie in and represent what's on this page very accurately. In this case, if the idea is we're going to see some corporate gifts, I better see some examples of corporate gifts sitting here. Now, Gail, I understand. Anybody can buy any of these things as corporate gifts, but if you had specific corporate gift packages and you call them the corporate gift package, that would really tie what's here to here. Now, I'm not saying that you need to change this page to have corporate gift stuff on it. What I'm saying is we need to change this title tag to talk about, this is all the different brownies that we have, because that's what really this page is about. This is about all the different brownies. And if I went to the cookies page, what's the title here? You can see cookies from Gail's Brownies right underneath my mouse. This is a more accurate title tag for what's on this page. And if I see where that one is in here, This is the search result. Cookies from Gail's Brownies. You got some issue with your title tag in your website where it's smashing these two words together without a space there. So you have that fixed. But here's the meta description. Gail's original over-the-top chocolate chip cookie gives s'more cookie over-the-top salted. You can see that this is just pulling text from here. We can actually customize this meta description to describe what's on this page more accurately. But the point that I'm trying to make here is if I know it says I'm gonna get cookies, I go to the page, I see cookies, I'm getting exactly what I was promised in the search result. So there's probably gonna be a lower bounce rate in the cookies page than there is in the on the brownies page. Does that example make sense to you, Terry?
Yeah, I think it's great. And if you go back to that brownies page, she's got that heart on there. This is an unsolicited testimony, but I bought that thing for my wife, and I think I ate about 80% of it myself. It's unbelievable. So, on another note, her stuff is fantastic. So if you're watching this and you haven't tried them, you definitely should. But yeah, I think that's real important, and I think that Gail can take that and use that to try to clean up some of those tags so that she can cut her bounce rate. And if she's not already checking her bounce rates, now hopefully she's got a little bit of an idea on how to go ahead and do that. So while I have the floor here real quick, I wonder if we could go to our homepage real quickly. Just wanted to interject for a minute and make sure that everybody who's watching is familiar with us and what we do. So the bottom line on what we do here at Awesome Dynamic is we get you new and targeted customers. We are able to do that by developing responsive websites, by doing some search engine optimization, and we do the Google virtual tours, which are also a great way for people to preview your business, get a look at it online without actually coming in. Gives you an SEO boost while you're at it as well, especially if if the people you're competing against don't have one and you do, it's going to help quite a bit. And then our venture here is the Amazon Seller Consulting. We have people literally all over the country and all over the world coming to us for help getting on Amazon or having more success selling their products on Amazon. But everything we do, again, targeted customers for you. We're not throwing a bunch of customers at the wall that might be a customer and hoping that someone's interested. We're directing people who are looking for your product or service directly to you. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Also on this page, you can sign up for our awesome list and be kept up to date on our mailing list on everything that's going on here. All the webinars that we do are always available up top on our webinar tab, so you can come back at a later date and watch any of the old ones, get a good feel for them as well. If you're so interested in being featured on one of these webinars, where we could actually do a little evaluation for you of your website and your online presence, just reach out to me, Terry at awesomedynamic.com. We'll go ahead and set you up on the schedule and have a little look for you, give you an idea of where you are on that. And again, you can always go in here and interact with us during the webinar and type in a question, and we can address that for you directly and help you out. So we like to help people out with any of the questions that they're having, and we look forward to answering some that you might have today. So guys, what did I miss?
Miss on what? On
Right.
what you just said?
Yeah, so I know I did miss one thing. I mean, we usually save this for the end too, but we do have a place at the bottom of our homepage for someone who would like to give us a Google 5-star review. Should you be happy and informed by what you heard here today, we always appreciate that. It helps our business tremendously to do so, and we'd love to have those kind of reviews from you. So other than that, what did I miss?
I think you got it now.
Cool.
Good to go.
All right, let's get back to our blog.
All right. Well, here, add to look and feel. So the look and feel of the site is what do I feel when I come to the homepage? You know, we should really take a look at Gail's Brownies. Since she's with us. What do I feel when I first come to this page? Do I have to read a whole bunch of paragraph copy to figure out what you do? The answer to that second question is no. The answer to the first question is I love this picture up here. I see the chocolate sauce around it, and I feel that this website's about very delicious desserts. I also glance down the page and see gift packages. So I'm seeing that it's not just individual brownies, I'm seeing gifts and stuff. And that's without reading any of these words. And then when I do start reading the words that really stand out more than anything else is decadent desserts. It's really bold. It's near the top of the page, more so than anything else that's on here. So that look and feel of how you put the pictures help with that. But right in this particular webinar, well, not the webinar, but the blog. Let me get back to the blog for a moment. We're talking about the writing and how that affects traffic that comes to this site. And I'm going to do a little critiquing here. Right here, I see some paragraph copy, and I think to myself, okay, I got to read this, but my eyes are going to glance to see all the main headings first. So I'll see, okay, here's a sentence, I don't want to read it. Visit our store, big news from Gales, restaurants, country clubs, food service industry, retailers. That's how my eyes jump down the page in terms of the actual text contents that's there. So I immediately skipped over these paragraphs to see this item first because it was the easiest piece of text to consume visually on the page before this big news, and then these items down here. So the point that I'm trying to make is you should use subheadings and bullets as much as possible. People, when they go to sites, they're scanning the website for the content that they want to read, and when something really resonates with them, then they're going to stop and read what's underneath there. So an improvement on this page is, okay, if anything in this block of text is important, and I have not read it yet, if anything in here is important, give me some sort of heading that makes me realize what in this copy is important, and put that heading there so I know whether or not I should be skipping this. Because right now I just skip it automatically and go down the next thing that looks like a heading to see if what I'm looking for is on this page. Does that make sense, Terry?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
Okay. Now,
I mean, we should probably just talk briefly about I mean, I know we've hit this before, but the amount of time that you have to really get your point across and get some information to somebody before they consider moving on is very minimal. So those bullet points or headings will help do that. Help accomplish that by getting the message to them right away, quickly and easily.
Exactly. Now, add instant trust is another item on here. So does the writing add trust into your brand? And does it, again, we talk about resonating with folks. Does this resonate with folks? Some different visual elements that I see right away that build trust is the fact that you're referencing a corporation that a lot of people in the Chicago area recognize, which is Giordano's. The other thing that builds trust is having an updated copyright date of 2016. I don't know how many websites I've gone to that have an old copyright date. Gail, you don't have one at all, and that's okay. You should probably put something on there so it protects the information that you wrote here. But at the same time, the writing in terms of its professionalism and grammar can really build trust in your brand as well. I'm not criticizing this or saying that any of your writing, Gail, is amateur or professional, because I haven't read it at all. But if it doesn't read like professional copy, doesn't read, if there's spelling typos and things like that, that turns off people right away. Just like if you're a hiring manager and you see somebody submit a resume and there's a spelling error on the resume, or things are formatted in a way that looks pretty terrible, that's going to cause that hiring manager to throw the resume in the garbage instantly and not even consider the person for an interview in the first place. So you kind of got to think about it that way. Does my text content read well and is grammatically correct? Does it have professional language? Is everything spelled correctly? Correct punctuation? Those things are important because they're judging your brand and trusting you based on the time and effort you put in to presenting your business in the best light possible.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Robin,
one thing that we didn't talk about on here, but I know we've talked about it in the past too, and this will be a perfect one for Gail if she was interested in doing so, is a little video from her.
Yeah, and although that doesn't have to do with writing, it does build trust in a big way. Even having a picture of Gail, and I think Gail has a picture on her website somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. but I could be. Yeah, here she is. So we have Gail's picture here. It's Gail's brownies. I want to see Gail instantly, and I want to know that she's a real person and not some corporate entity that just decided to call them Gail's brownies. So I'd have a picture. It would even be really cool if it was a picture of Gail holding one of her gift baskets, smiling. And I'm going to show you an example of this, Gail. My dad's website, I think, is a perfect example of this. Okay, here's my father. And he's right plastered at the top of his homepage, smiling, arms crossed. He's confident in the product that he has. You can see the product right behind him. He stands by his product. This imagery really speaks to people in so many different levels. It speaks to the level of product that he provides, not wire shelving that you buy from Home Depot. This is, you can see that there's drawers and countertops, and we can see him smiling. It looks like a really friendly guy. I'd love to have this guy into my home to take a look at my closets. We're trying to communicate a lot of things through this picture of not only him, but the product that he produces, and it builds a lot of trust. It builds, it gives people confidence that he has confidence in what he's doing, and a lot of other things in that regard. Terry, you have a lot of experience in the closet business because you used to work for another closet company and sell their product. What does this say to you from your perspective?
Well, the first thing I was to say is it was nice of you to let him take a picture of your closet.
I wish that was my closet.
I mean, it shows to the quality of the construction here. It shows the nice design. I mean, everybody who wouldn't want to have an island like that in their closet if they could. So it's really driving it home. And I think that's a perfect scenario for, as you said, for something for Gail with her standing there holding one of those baskets. Something like that would be outstanding.
And then just how you know what you know about the closet industry, what does the photo of my father standing like that say to you? Compared, with your knowledge of guys in the closet industry.
Yeah, well, I mean, just it shows his pride in what he does, and I mean, then he's showing an example of his expertise here. So it's all tying it together and just saying, I know what I'm doing. I have quality products. Give me a call.
That's right. Bring simplicity in order to your life. All right, so then Robin has the #1 golden rule here, and does it look good? And what that really means is, Robin even highlights huge blocks of text that's small and hard to read does not look good. But really formatting in a way, and there's the ability to, and you'll notice even on our website here, you'll notice that there's not one word on a line by itself at the bottom of a paragraph. You'll notice that all 3 of these paragraphs end in the same spot, right here in a line. So if I were to draw a line across here, they all end. This is not going where I thought it would be. See at the bottom of this red box here? They all, or the top of the red box now, they all end right there on that line. That's on purpose. I kept customizing these paragraphs to say what I wanted, and I kept getting them to the point where they're ending on one line. I don't have any words, one word wrapping to a line by itself. Even these, see all these? Your organization. I probably customized this a couple times. This way, there wasn't just one word on line by itself. You'll notice the top 3 items here on this page are all 3 lines apiece, and the bottom ones are all 4 lines apiece. I could have randomly mixed these together, but I didn't. I actually proactively looked at how they laid out, and it looks good this way. And I learned this stuff from our partner at Paul Fiorelli Graphics and Printing, because I didn't used to really pay attention to this stuff, but I do now because I understand that how you lay out the text in certain ways can really go a long way to making your stuff look good. Now, a problem I have right here, see how this join now jumps to another line? That drives me crazy. Why isn't, and we can see that this heading is only 1 line, but the other 2 here are on different lines. So I'm going to be talking to somebody at my organization to make sure that we always have 2 lines here, so all these join now buttons line up at the same place, because that just looks better. And you can see that consistency as you scroll through the page. These things are thought, all these bullet points are on 1 line apiece. They end, have one like hanging out here way long, and the other ones are really short. So sometimes we're reconfiguring the different text to work in a different way to make it look good on the page. And that gives you a more polished, professional look and feel, too. Terry, any commentary on that?
No, I think you got it covered. We just got to clean those couple things up on ours.
Now, the rest of the stuff that's on here, and we can certainly go over this, but we're kind of running out of time here. Just some different suggestions in terms of the heading sizes that you could use. This is what we recommend and use for a lot of our websites. The heading 1 is 30 pixels, heading 2, 26 pixels. These are font sizes. We have some other tips on here. No wrapping to the second line in the sub-navigation. Just some different things that we find gives you a better looking website if you follow these different tips. So these get into more of the technical stuff. But it's more of the general concepts here at the top that are important to understand, and all this other technical stuff will follow.
All right. That's a good blog. A lot of good info.
Absolutely. Gail says, by the way, thank you for recommending her heart product. I don't know if that's what she said thank you for specifically, but she did say thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate her. She's a good client and friend of ours, and her stuff is amazing. So everybody should be jumping on there and getting some. That's for sure.
All right, Terry, I thought about what we could do for the second half because we don't have a specific website to do, but what we can do is take a look at maybe some of these different companies that you've been prospecting for the Amazon stuff, because we can do essentially a review of some of their different products, some of the different pitfalls, things that they could be improving, and incorporate that as part of this webinar and possibly deliver it to them as something that they could take a look at. What do you think about that?
Great idea.
All right. Do you have any? Can you pull up one specifically that you were taking a look at?
Yeah. Let me get over to that.
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna bounce over to Amazon. Give me a second to log in.
Prime Day's coming up.
Prime Day. What day what day is that, Blake? Do you know?
12th, because I keep seeing it every time I look for anything. So
it is the 12th, I think. Maybe it's the 11th. 11th or 12th. Let me see.
All right.
July 12th. Which is a Tuesday.
Tuesday the 12th. Prime Day. Amazon Prime Day. And then, Terry, you're looking up somebody that we can take a look at here?
I am. I was looking for one in particular, but let me see here. Give me a second.
If you give me one off the bat, I can start with that, and then we can always bounce into it.
Let's talk Squatty Potty.
Ah, Squatty Potty.
And Gail says, thank you for the pointers. Everything you said makes a lot of sense. You were very welcome, Gail.
All right.
Blake? Okay, the Squatty Potty. Wow, look at how many reviews this thing has.
Yes. One of my friends, closest friends, uses this exact one as well in his bathroom and swears by it for years now.
And I know a little bit about the product because my wife has one of these, and I actually heard about it from a good friend of ours that told my wife about it. And essentially, it allows you to position your legs and feet higher off the ground to give you a better position when you're on the toilet. So that's what this product is all about.
And the reason I think that they, besides maybe being a great product, but one of the reasons it's getting all the reviews and action it's getting is that it was on Shark Tank.
Okay, that's something I didn't know either.
Yes.
Nor did I.
So taking a look, I didn't know they had so many different versions of the Squatty Potty. So we have a plastic one, we have a wood one, and we have different heights of them. And one of the things that we take a look at when we look at an Amazon listing is, well, first off, I always take a look at the pictures. So we're going to get into some of the different details here. But taking a look at the pictures here, I see that we have what, 5 pictures and a video. And
a little nervous about that video, I have to say.
And if I take a look at this specific picture, notice when I hover over the picture, I'm not getting that zoom. You notice that some pictures you actually go there and you're able to zoom in and look at the product.
Right.
I'm not getting that right now. And that's a concern to me, because if I'm not able to, this one, see how that one gave me the option? I didn't have that option on the other photos. And even now, I'm not even getting into some of the extra detail I really want to because the picture didn't get that much bigger. Amazon allows you to upload a photo that's up to 4 megabytes, and it allows you to really get into the details. So say I want to see what this looks like on the bottom here, I'd be able to do it. Or let's say I can't read what this text says on the screen right here. If it was uploaded in the largest file format possible, I'd be able to see this detail. So being able to upload pictures that are of the proper size, it allows me to zoom in and really look at the product, allows the customer to be able to really investigate every aspect of the product because they can't touch and feel it on a shelf like they can in a brick and mortar retail outlet. They're relying on these pictures to make their decision. Now, taking a look at these pictures, I go to some of these other pictures, I can't click and look at this side. I can't see what's down there. Here's here's one. How come the label's different on this one versus this one? So that's something that the consistency of the picture, well, which one am I going to be getting as the Amazon customer? I can't tell if it's going to be this one with the label like this or this one with the label like this. Over here, I see this one has different stickers on the front. So again, I'm seeing 3 different versions of this product now, and I don't know which version I'm going to be getting. And I can't zoom in on any of the pictures except for the one.
For me on these pictures, I don't know. You guys would correct me if you think this is not the case, but for me, shouldn't there be like maybe a contrasting background or something? It doesn't seem like it's very easy to even look at these pictures. They're white products, white background. Not to me. It's just hard to really get a good view of it. I think maybe a different background might really help make it pop and be a little more easy to look at.
Well, that's where you can kind of play with some of the different Photoshop elements of how the picture is presented. You're actually required, at least for your main photo, to have a knocked out background of your photo. Although in many cases we find that policy by Amazon doesn't really get you into trouble. But if you're Terry, what you said is very true. The background should really be a tile floor in a bathroom. A very nice looking tile floor.
Mm-hmm.
So this way we can see what this product looks like in a real lifestyle environment. That's a very good point that you make there. So I also find issue with these pictures pertaining to how many there are here. You're allowed to have between 7 and 9 depending on the category, and right now we only have 5 pictures in one video. So we're missing the opportunity to have more here. And then the other thing I want to bring up is I can't see all angles of this product. I'm only seeing the angle from if I was looking at the toilet. I don't know what the other side of this looks like. I don't have a great top view of it, and I can't really zoom in to see is there any grippies for my feet on this thing. I want to see what the bottom looks like. Are there rubber feet on this thing to keep it from sliding on my tile floor? I can't look at the bottom of it. I can't see every angle. And that is incredibly frustrating as an online shopper. I cannot go into the store, pick one up, and look at it from every single angle. So you have to deliver that experience online on Amazon. You have to. And it's not happening with these pictures. So although I get a pretty decent idea of what's going on here, there's a huge amount of improvement that could be done with these pictures to really help the product be demonstrated in every form, way, and fashion possible, so it helps me understand exactly what I'm going to be getting. That's just the pictures. Let's take a look at the title, Squatty Potty. So that's great. That's what it's called. The original bathroom toilet stool, 7-inch white. The other thing that you could do with this title is say something about why I would need one of these. So I'm sure that's stated somewhere in about the product, and I'm sure it's stated in the description somewhere. But why would I need one of these? I know why, because my wife has one, and I've talked about it with several people. But if I'm just searching through these search results, and maybe I stumble across it, maybe I didn't use a key term that's related to your product, but I stumble across it, this doesn't tell me right off the bat why I would need a toilet stool. So improves flow or something like that might help. So that's something that you could possibly do in here. The other thing is, if you do some pay-per-click advertising on this through Seller Central, you can gather keyword data about which keywords really result in the most clicks and buys of the product, and you can incorporate whatever the best keyword is into your title in some way. That could be something that could really help get people. We talked about earlier in the webinar the idea of bounce rate. Well, if we really use a word that resonates with people and we incorporate that into the title, that might get more people to click through on this item and actually purchase. I want to take a look at about the product, which is the bullet points. A lot of people don't know that the first 3 bullet points are all that really shows up unless you decide to expand things on the mobile devices. So whatever you say in the first 3 bullet points are very important. And I'm going to take a look at these. It's made in the USA, as seen on Shark Tank in the Howard Stern show. The Squatty Potty Original has 2 sizes that work perfectly with any standard or comfort height toilet. If you're a new squatter, the 7-inch is a great place to start. And you're limber, consider yourself advanced squatter, 9 inches will work the best. So these are actually written quite well, and I like that they're the first 3 bullet points. A lot of times I see a lot of people putting in factual information about just, okay, we have 7 or 9 inches. It's made of plastic, made in the USA, and that's all they have there. So in this case, these bullet points are actually well written, and I don't see any reason to really change them much, and I like that this information is included in the first 3 bullets. Blake, any additional commentary on that? You do a lot of bullet writing for us.
I think they're actually well, and I've been doing some more testing on mobile, and even if you have long bullet points in the first 3, they still tend to show. They'll just expand the box on mobile. And like you said, you see the first 3 on desktop. So they covered a lot of information and sold the product in the first 3, so quite well, and thumbs up for their bullet points.
We're going to move down here. Thank you, Blake. Move down here to the product description. Made in the USA, and then they have a whole bunch of information in here, which is good. And it's good to be very descriptive about the product, but you see where this description is located on the page? It's all the way at the bottom. And that's why really it's important to make sure that you're getting some of the main points, the things that are important to customers that compel them to want to buy your product up in this area right here. Including that additional information down here is always valuable. And that's something, if you're in Vendor Central, you can actually do what's called an A+ page and add all this content down here. So this is from the manufacturer, and they're allowed to, through that program, customize exactly what's on this page. You can either pay Amazon to do it for you, you can hire somebody who knows HTML to put this together. Can't do that in the Seller Central, but there's a lot of advantages to being Seller Central versus Vendor Central in terms of being able to set your own profit margin and doing a lot of things that you can't do in Vendor Central. We, in fact, help a lot of companies get out of Vendor Central because of the frustrations they have in Seller or Vendor Central. Other interesting information down here, product details. Right here, #1 product in, and we go through all these different categories, toilet assistance steps. So if toilet, it would be interesting to know, is toilet assistance steps something that people are searching, and maybe that's a keyword I should have in my title. I don't know. It would be worth checking that out and doing some keyword research to see, is that something that would be worthwhile to incorporate in the title and maybe the bullet points. Other information here, domestic shipping, international shipping, origin USA, item model number is right here. You're only allowed to, through Vendor Central, and that's what this product is set up under, enter in so much information about your product. When you use Vendor Central, you get the option to add a lot more information about your product, and the more information that you add in terms of pictures, background information on the product, the category that you put it in can really help a product rank better than another product. So right now our biggest issue with this particular product is maybe we need to customize the title. These pictures definitely need to be improved. But if I come over here, this is a big problem for this manufacturer. See how there's 14 new? Okay, so this manufacturer, Squatty Potty, sells direct to Amazon, and Amazon is selling it themselves on Amazon.com. And this corporation is selling it to Amazon probably at a very low wholesale price. And this manufacturer is selling to other people at a low wholesale price, and they are all putting the product onto Amazon, competing with Amazon themselves, And we get this huge price variation of different things with shipping and the price point initially and all sorts of different people with different, you can see some people don't really have the greatest rating. And you have the shopper has the ability to buy from any one of these folks. And this is a problem for the manufacturer because when someone buys one of these things, the product quality can vary drastically based on who is shipping out the product. So let's say I buy it from Squatty Potty, and maybe I don't have the best warehouse procedures. The things get dented up, and then I send them into Amazon. Someone buys it, they get a dented up product. That's a problem, and that reflects on the entire brand Squatty Potty. The other problem that I see here is the Squatty Potty themselves has the ability to set the retail profit margin, make that for themselves. So $25.71, I imagine that they're probably selling this to Amazon less than $12, and Amazon's selling it at $25.71. I imagine they're probably selling it to Amazon for less than, I guess they're probably selling it for $8 a piece. And Amazon's turning around and selling it for $25.71. And all these other guys are probably buying it from between $8 and $12, and they're selling it for a myriad of different prices. And every time one of these is bought from Squatty Potty by any of these guys, they're making that wholesale price at $8.71, or I'm not $8.71, but $8 to $12. What Squatty Potty can decide to do is say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to. I'm going to create a manufacturer's advertised price policy. And I'm going to put in there an exclusion that says no one else but me can sell this item. And then they can enforce that policy and tell Carol Wright Gifts, BIC Warehouse, Connect Buy, all these other guys and say, you know what, you're violating my policy. You cannot sell on Amazon. And that will systematically eliminate all these other sellers, which means that they'll only be able to buy from Amazon. And then they can go one step further and say, you know what, I'm not going to sell to Amazon anymore. I'm going to sell through Amazon. And then what happens is Squatty Potty starts selling it at, let's say, $25.95 or something like that. And they're making that retail margin on every product that's sold. They still send it into Amazon the same way they always have, a slightly different way. But every time one's sold, they're not just making $8 to $12 on it. They're making $25.95 minus some fees. So they exponentially increase the amount that they make per product, and instead of all these other guys selling it at that amount, Squatty Potty is selling all of them to everyone who decides to buy one on Amazon. So why this is important? We have a plastics manufacturer that we did this for, where they had this very similar situation, where they had all these other guys buying from them wholesale. They weren't actually selling direct to Amazon, but they took the power back, essentially. And after they took the power back, they went from selling $200,000 on Amazon to $5 million in sales on Amazon in less than 4 years because they were the only ones selling on Amazon and they were making that retail profit margin. So I imagine Squatty Potty decided to get involved with Amazon because, oh, well, I just sell to them at wholesale price. They buy the product off of me. They have to pay storage fees for this stuff. If they want their stuff to come up more prominently, they have to pay for ads. There's all this other business. But they're just making a wholesale price and bulk product. They could take that product back, decide to switch over to Seller Central and actually sell direct to consumers. They're not going to be fulfilling individual orders. They're going to use the Amazon FBA program through Seller Central and just make tons more money, stop selling to all these guys who are making all the money selling on Amazon, and make all that money themselves. So we help businesses do this all the time. Basically, I'm going to stop selling at Amazon. I'm going to create a situation where all these other guys can't sell on Amazon. Me as the manufacturer, I'm going to sell direct to consumers and make that retail profit margin on Amazon. And you will see a drastic increase in sales, and all those folks are buying essentially direct from you through Amazon. Terry, what do you think about that?
Well, I love it, and what it does really, the one thing that we didn't mention specifically here, but we talk about all the time, eliminates the race to the bottom when it comes to pricing.
Exactly. And that's where all these guys are using repricers. I mean, look, somebody's selling for $14 or $19.49, $15 shipping. They're trying. The top one selling right now is this Carol Wright Gifts, $18.49 plus $7 shipping. Amazon themselves isn't beating them because the buy box, meaning the first one that comes up in a lot of these cases, can be controlled by price, by Prime, what your rating is, and a whole bunch of other things. But we eliminate all this stuff by, like I said, taking the power back.
And most companies are fighting this exact same situation, and most of them are unaware of the remedies that we're talking about here to get rid of all this competition and own the entire market and be selling at full retail at the same time.
Right. And I imagine we can see how many Amazon is stocking. What do you guys think? Do you think there's more than 1,000 in stock?
Probably.
I'm going to add 1,000 of them to my cart. Ooh, the seller limit has 3 per customer.
Wow.
Interesting. I haven't seen that before.
That's rare. That's almost like Legos.
Yeah. So there must be something built in there to limit the quantity purchased.
That's strange. Why would they want to do something like that?
Exactly.
That goes against my whole nature.
What's that?
I said that goes against my whole nature.
Yes. If someone's willing to buy them all, sell them all. Interesting. Well, yeah, and we only evaluated one of these products. If we take a look at the rest of products by Squatty Potty, and you know what? Squatty Potty might have an issue here with, I saw some other brands. There's this Easy Go Pro ergonomic toilet stool. I don't know if this is legitimate or if this is a knockoff brand. This one might be a legitimate or knockoff brand. I imagine there's manufacturers in other countries creating products that are similar or maybe even exactly the same and representing them as Squatty Potty. That's something that we can help eliminate too. We do test buys, we merge the listings together, we report the faux product sellers to Amazon and have their seller accounts kicked off at Amazon. So there's a lot of options there to solve problems like that. It's an easily replicated product because it's plastic and it's made with a mold. So we see that a lot of times with plastic products. We see a lot of counterfeit situations, and we can help solve those problems as well. All right. Well, Terry, I think that was a great review, and I think that's something that we could do on some of our other webinars. And what we can do is take that section of video and send that over to them and see how that resonates with them.
Absolutely. I'm sure that's information they'd like to see. And, we know the video is very effective for getting that information across. That's a great way to go. No question.
Well, I wanted to thank Gail for joining us. She's hung in there. She said, thank you for the pointers. Everything you said makes a lot of sense. So, Gail, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to join us any week, and we're always covering different interesting topics and getting into them in great depth. And if you ever have any specific questions, please ask us so we can get into those. Terry, back to you to do the wrap-up.
All right. Well, again, I did want to mention that if anybody who's watching is interested in getting their own evaluation of their site, their online presence, their Amazon account, whatever it might be, reach out to me at terry@awesomedynamic.com, and we'll go ahead and get that set up for you. Bring your friends. Let's get some. We love to entertain specific questions and something like Google Analytics that we talked about today. Something like that you're having trouble with. If you want help, we would love to help you and bring those specific questions to us. Again, Awesome Dynamic will get you targeted new customers with website design, with SEO services, with Google virtual tours, and also helping people with their Amazon seller accounts as well. We do appreciate you being here. If you liked what you saw today, we would love to have you give us a 5-star Google review. You can do that right down at the bottom of our site. Also, you are able to get on our awesome list down there as well to make sure that we keep you informed on everything that's upcoming. I do want to say for our local people in the Chicagoland area that in Vernon Hills on the 21st of this month, we will be doing a Google Get Your Business Online seminar. And we should be getting that up on the site, I think, shortly, so you have that information. But you should be able to find that as well and contact us for additional information. Love to help you. Everybody needs to have a Google page, and it's free, and the seminar is free as well. So it's a great way to get yourself found and get reviews. So we want to make sure you take advantage of that while you're at it. And I want to thank Blake for doing a great job over there. Robin, we missed you. Paul, thanks for filling in and keeping us up to speed on that blog. It was great. And we look forward to having you guys come back next week and join us again. So from Awesome Dynamic, we thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.